Hey, Pharaoh, Erica Jefferson Rivers, your sister Erica with the Tuesday Sister Check In live today on Facebook, YouTube, as well as IG. First, before I get started tonight, I want to ask how you're doing. How has your week been so far? I find myself at the end of a work day on Tuesday, and I am trying to figure out how it has felt like 18 days and 2 days. It has just been the longest week already to me, and I'm feeling a little bit depleted and tired. And so I'm wondering how you're doing. Is your heart? How is your mind today, family? How are you hanging in there? Lots of stuff going on in the news, which may be having you feel a certain type of way. And what I want to talk to you tonight is really an extension of something I shared Monday, which was yesterday. I shared my Monday, my mental health moment, talking about being shaken and what happens if you're making a shake or something in like one of those type of shake containers. And if you leave the lid off, of course, you get stuff all over the place. And sometimes that happens with us in life. And that theme really stuck with me throughout the entire day. And even today, as I got up and got started with the new day. And I certainly didn't mean for that message to become prophetic. Unfortunately, it did. And of course, in true fashion, I will share my experience and what happened, and kind of tie that in. But the thought that came to mind after I shared that video and shared the little fun video, me dancing with the shake bottle in the morning on a Monday, trying to get myself moving, I kept thinking about the phrase that came from, I think it's from one of the James Bond movies where he would ask for his martini to be shaken, not stirred. And that kept sticking in my mind, shaken but not stirred, shaken but not stirred. And a praise really started to well up within me because there have certainly been times, and you can probably also attest to this, where you feel like you've been shaken. Something has happened. And it's not even always something big, right? It may not be something large or monumental. Oftentimes, it's a series of small things, it's a series of little tremors. Maybe not the whole earthquake at one time, but you get series of just little tremors that send you on this spiral where you either have an emotional eruption, right? That's like the stuff coming out of the lid, right? Whatever your whatever reason that lid just pops off and you start to have an emotional reaction just out of those little things that keep building up, that keep building up, that keep building up. And so, like I said, I didn't mean for my message on Monday to be prophetic at all. I really started the day off pretty strong, was excited about the day, was able to get to work on time, had a nice healthy lunch packed, had my little protein shake ready to go, was feeling pretty good. Traffic was awesome on Monday morning. I mean, no accidents, no slowdowns. I coasted. I coasted down 85 South to get myself to work. And once I got there, there was just series of little things that happened. Just little things. They weren't major things. It was hard for me to even go back at this moment and even recount exactly what it was, but it was just little things that started to gnaw at me, right? That just really started to grate me. And when we got to the end of the day, baby, for whatever that traffic wasn't doing in the morning, they doubled the foolishness and mischief for the afternoon. Good grief. It was just backed up, and there was an accident that was clearly showing on Google Maps. There was an accident that was coming up. The little lady on the map was telling me that I was in a 8 to 10 minute slowdown, but that I was still on the fastest, the fastest route. And then lo and behold, before I can even get to the major accident, there was already someone who had had a fender bender. All right, there was just a rear end. on the highway. So now you're dealing with two accidents. So that combined with just being tired and Monday, man, by the time I got home, I was a completely different person than I was when I went in. And so in that situation, right, I was shaken, but I was also stirred. I was shaken and stirred by the end of the day. Yes, and so let me publicly, even though I privately apologize to my love, who is the person who's closest to me, because when you're shaken and you're stirred, it's always the people closest to you that wind up feeling the effects, right, of your reaction or response to whatever was happening to you and around you. And so I'm grateful to have someone solid, right? I'm grateful to have God, Jesus, who is my solid rock, but I'm also grateful to have a solid partner to help me in those moments. And so it's a couple things that I want to make sure I get to tonight, and also want to be mindful of your time. I never try to keep you long. Right? So shaken but not stirred. I looked up the definitions of shaken and of stir. Right? So shaken, one of the definitions said that it's having one's composure or confidence upset, being shocked or disturbed, or being profoundly upset. Hey, Naya, so glad to see you. Hey, Rob, good to see you. So, shaken, right, can also come from the Bible. You know, there are many stories about shaken, having our faith shaken. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, and I started to do a little bit of research around this and determined that there is so much to unpack from that that I'm not likely the one to do that, right? But shaken is having one's composure or confidence upset, right? And being profoundly upset. Now, stir is where things started to become a little bit more interesting for me. So, stir, one of the definitions, to move or cause to move slightly. Stir, one another definition is to rise or wake from sleep. So, like coming out of a slumber. Another one says to leave or go out of a place, or to begin or cause to begin, to be active or to develop. All right, then the last one, stir could also mean arousing strong feelings in someone, to move or to excite them. And so let's look at this shaken but not stirred from two sides of a coin. Okay, I'm showing my hand like that's a coin, but it's really two sides to this coin. And as I mentioned, the first side that immediately came to me is I started to have this praise and this feeling of gratefulness and thankfulness when I thought about just my faith resume, those things that have happened in my life up until this point that really shook me at the core, shook me to my foundation, definitely caused my composure and my confidence to be upset, my confidence in myself, my confidence in my God, my confidence even in the people that are around me that were supposed to be able to hold me down, who some were able to do and some weren't able to do, right? I can think of how many things that happened that shook me up. I talked about my breast cancer experience. I have yet to talk about the experience I had with my mom having a stroke. I've talked about my sister and being with her through her cancer, her breast cancer experience, and then in her transition. I haven't talked much about other things that happened, losing two family members within 3 days, losing a home, filing bankruptcy. Woo, it's been some stuff, y'all. It's been some stuff in these 47 years of life. And, thank the Lord that there were times when I was shaken and stirred, but there were also so many times when I was shaken, but I wasn't stirred. All right. I was not moved outside of my faith. I was not um calls to leave, right? To go out of my place of faithfulness, right? My place of hope, right? My place of love, my place of knowing that I know that I know that I know that God is able to keep me from falling. Right? I was not stirred in an arousal of strong feelings that caused me to move, right? To get so excited that I moved off of the place where God placed me. And I just had to give him some praise. Woo, thank you, thank you, thank you, because I certainly would not be where I am right now if I constantly allow myself to be stirred whenever I'm shaken. But then I also started now once I had my little moment, right, that I just shared with you. Y'all pray for me, pray for Mister, pray for my love. I'm always sharing just some things that I'm going through. It's hard to share what I'm experiencing without bringing him into it because he's right here with me and everything I experience, he also experiences alongside me. But I also started to think about the other side of that coin. And what do you do? How do you help? How do you support those moments when someone is shaken, but they're not stirred? Now, what do I mean by that? There are times when people, and even us, even myself, go through something. Something happens that shakes us up to the extent that it really should wake us up from whatever slumber or sleep we're in that moment. Woo! That slumber of apathy, right? That slumber or that sleep of hatred, that slumber or sleep of inaction, of laziness, of lack of faith, right? Lack of hope, comfort. Ooh, that place of comfort that keeps us exactly where we are, even when where we are is not really conducive to our growth. It's not conducive to our purpose. It's not even conducive to our own happiness or our own joy. What do you do with that? Now, usually I come on here with like, 4 tips for this, 5 tips for something else. And I'm not coming on here with any tips really today. If you have some thoughts that you want to put in the chat, that would be fantastic. And maybe we can have a dialogue about it. But it's so hard to continue to love on, to continue to support, to continue to engage with someone who the earthquake is happening, the thunder is rolling, all hell is breaking loose, and all the crap is on the fan. And yet, they will do nothing to change the situation. And so, this is different from someone who's just really calm, cool, and collected, right? To where they're not letting anything bother them. I'm talking about that part where that shaking should lead to a stirring of the spirit, a stirring of movement, of dedication, right? Again, exactly these things that came up in the definitions that I found, that it really should cause some movement, even if it's just slight, right? This arising to go from that place of comfort, to go from that place of chaos, to go from that place of predictable foolishness. Man, it is so hard for us as humans to change, to take a chance. We get so comfortable even in dysfunction. It happens to the best of us, okay? It happens to all of us. When we're not happy, we're not filled with joy, we know something needs to change, we want a change, but the idea and the fear around changing, the fear around the unknown, the fear around the fear of being disappointed, ooh, the fear of the expectations not being met will keep us stuck in just some stupid situations, will keep us stuck in chaos and foolishness and unhealthy thinking, unhealthy behaviors. Right? So, what is my answer to that? I'm not even here with an answer. I'm here with an acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge that all those things happen, even within one phrase of shaken, not stirred. Shaken, not stirred. I really want you to tap into those things that stir you up. Lean into what's shaking you. Lean into it and ask it, what is it that you need me to do? What is it that I am supposed to do in order to get a different result? And then lean on the God of your understanding to give you the strength, to give you the wisdom, to give you the courage, to give you the spirit, to give you that unshakable, undeniable grit, to make you just a little bit stubborn, to move, okay? To become active, to cause yourself to develop, to cause yourself to grow, to cause yourself to get excited about the possibilities that are available. Right? So recognize when you're on one side or the other side of that coin. Okay. Now, if you are determined and you ready to go, and you know those little tremors are coming to shake, try to shake your faith, they might huff and puff, but you don't let them blow the house down, right? Don't let them blow it down, okay? You keep on moving. Don't let it stir you. But when you find yourself in that place where you know that this is not working for me, this is not healthy for me, this is not the place I need to be in. This thing that I am allowing to be is causing issues, it's causing commotion, it's causing problem. Then allow that thing to shake you until you are stirred into action, until you are stirred up, excited to make a change, right? You have to just sit there and keep being shaken the whole time. Now, it's not shaken adult syndrome. I don't know if that's a thing, and that's not to make fun of shaken baby syndrome because that's a very serious issue that's touched way too many people's lives negatively. And so I want to make sure I say that. My apologies if that triggers anyone. But I'm not expecting you to stay in a place where you're getting shaken so much, right? That you getting brain damage, you getting concussions, you getting whiplash because you just allowing yourself to be shaken, shaken, shaken. Let that stir up a change, stir up a gift, stir up the motivation, stir up the resilience to be able to move forward and to live the life, live a more abundant life, a life of love and happiness and joy and enough, and whatever you define as a successful, loving, joyous, and happy life. All right. So that's it. Let me take a look at my notes to see if there was anything else that was coming to mind. It's really just thinking about that shaken but not stirred. Oh, I know what else I wanted to mention. What do you do when it's someone else in your life? Right? It's not you, but it's someone else in your life, someone you care about deeply that you're watching them being shaken to shreds, right? You are watching them, but yet it's still not stirring up a change. It's not stirring up anything in them. And you talk to them and you counsel them and you enable them and you fall back from enabling to just trying to let them be and you send them referrals and you send other people to talk to them, right? You try to pull them out of the situation, you try to give them options, and yet they continue to be where they are. I was going to say choose. I don't know if it's always a choice. Sometimes it's a mental blockage, mental health, or even physical health, financial. There are so many things that can cause a person to remain where they are. So this is not about judging that at all. But really, the thing that you the biggest thing that you can do is just love them. At some point you have to remember and realize that you cannot be someone else's Holy Spirit. Shout out to my soulmate Sandy P, my Sandy P Pook the Pop, Sandra Powell, who mentioned that to me years and years ago, and it has always stuck. You can't be someone's Holy Spirit. You can't lead someone out of a place that they're not ready to come out of, whatever reason. You can love them. You can try your best not to be an enabler of poor behavior or decisions, but love on them. Make sure that they know that they're still worthy, that they're still important, right? That they're still needed. And you make sure you take care of your mental health, right? Take care of your physical health and your overall well being. And you be the one to model what it looks like to show that resilience and that fortitude and that grit, even when the ground beneath you can't really be trusted, right? You're unsure. It doesn't seem like it's going to be able to hold the weight. Woo, come on. Won't be able to hold the weight of what you have experienced, of who you are, of what you have to do, of what your purpose and your mantle is. But you be the one to continue showing how you take those baby steps, right? One step at a time. What I said yesterday is keep starting until you don't have to start anymore. Keep starting, little bit at a time, little bit at a time. And when you find yourself shaken and stirred, give yourself some grace, make the amends you need to make, get yourself back on track, and keep moving forward. Okay. So that is my message for you today, family. I love you, love you, love you. I hope that the remainder of your week is as special as you are, that it is the week that you deserve to have, that it doesn't go by fast because I don't want to wish any of our lives away any faster than we need to go, but that it goes by with ease, and it goes by with ease and enjoyment. Erica Jefferson Rivers, your sister Erica, with your Tuesday sister check in. Please feel free to share this message if you're catching this on the restream or a recast. Please make sure you're commenting. I do go back and look at comments and try to interact as much as possible. Catch me next Tuesday on Your Sister Erica Live as I'll cover another topic, whatever kind of comes to mind for me this week. If there's something particular that you would like to hear about, feel free to put that in the comments as well. Otherwise, have a fantastic night, family. Love you guys. Bye.